All right, welcome everybody to our Thursday Q&A. This is where we talk about farming and gardening and how to grow the very best food we can possibly grow. Tonight is week 69, so I've been doing this for a long time. We've probably missed about 10 weeks during this 69 weeks, so it's quite a few. It's been fun. I think we've helped some people for sure. A lot of people watch this on YouTube, so that's good. I'm excited about doing this. It's been fun, and a lot of my students watch it, and so I know that it's been helping them. So this is something we're going to continue to do, even though we don't have a lot of people on every Thursday night. All right, here's the 9 ways I help people grow food. YouTube, our weekly Q&A, Patreon. I do a lot of laboratory tests. I've been doing a lot lately, so it's been fun. Looking at soil, looking for the living active microbes in the soil. And then we've got our 17-week boot camp class. That just ended for this year a few weeks ago, and so that was fantastic. We graduated our 4 students that were here. We've got 3-day boot camps, and we're getting our calendar of events ready on our website. And I think those dates are already up for this coming year, for 2024. The first one will be in January. So that will be the next one, is in January. And then I do consulting. I've had several clients recently that I've done consulting for, and I'm in the middle of consulting with 2 people right now. One person in southern Utah and a person in Wyoming. So that's been fun to help people restore their grasslands and grow more food than they were previously growing. My book is ready for people to buy, and my newsletter. Well, I'm going to send out a newsletter one of these days because we have things to talk about. So go to georgicrevolution.com and you can find out more information about how we help restore the world to the most productive soils possible. Tonight, we're going to have a really quick presentation just about what to do in the fall. So I just threw some pictures in here of things that are good to do in the fall. So right here, we're putting tarps on top of the ground. So we're just unrolling these tarps. We're spreading them out. This is a silage tarp. The silage tarps, you can get those at a lot of different places. You can buy them online. You can buy them at feed stores, agricultural supply places. But these are UV stable. The sunlight will not degrade these. So they're a good tool. Now, you don't have to use tarps, but if you use them, they're actually a really great tool to help to get rid of weeds. So you can see this piece of ground. What we're doing right here, this entire field that is brown and dead, this was under tarps. And so the rocks that are out here were holding these tarps down. You can see behind, over here where I'm pointing with my pointer, you can see that the grass is pretty tall out here. So these tarps were on the ground for a long time, and so the grass wasn't able to grow. So this creates a clean growing area, and it will kill out your perennial weeds, the really bad, noxious weeds. So what we're doing in this picture, there's just different people who live here on the ranch, and some of my students from last year, or maybe this was 2 years ago. This looks like Jessica and Peter. That would have been 2 years ago. And I think that's when this was. And then the Sorensen's kids. And we were just folding these tarps up and to put them away. And then we planted a big garden here. So this was towards the end of May, early June is when this would have happened. But you can see that if we wouldn't have had the tarps on here, the grass would have been 2 to 3 feet tall in this field. So the tarp can create you a beautiful garden. Tarps are a good tool. But the point of showing you this picture right now is this is the time of year to put tarps on the ground. So I think I have about 23 or 24 tarps out right now that are on the ground. And I have 8 to 10 more that I'm going to put on in the next couple of weeks. And then I ran out of tarps, or I might put out a few more. But we are preparing a lot of garden beds for next year. And then this picture shows me and my onion patch right here in the greenhouse. This is the onion seed that I grew. I think this was 2 years ago when I took this picture. But the reason I'm showing you this now is there's a lot of seeds to be harvested at this time of year. If you are raising seeds to harvest, this is a good fall activity. So we want to get the seeds all harvested. And these beautiful plants that are tall with these white round flowers, those are onions. And we harvested these seeds, and these aren't quite ready yet in the picture, but we did harvest these seeds, and I grew a lot of onions last year from these seeds that we harvested here. And then this is showing carrot seeds. So behind my hand in this picture, you can see the carrots. So there's the white flowers, those are carrot flowers, and then you can see the green umbels, and those ones have seeds that are sprouting. And then here right in front of my finger where my pointer is right there, you can see how this one is dried up. And so as soon as these begin to dry up, then you can go ahead and harvest carrot seed. So at this time of year, I still have green leaves on the plants, but I don't have any white flowers. And most of the umbels have begun to dry up really good here. So that's what we're looking at. Here in my hand is the carrot seed. And so it's a good time to harvest all your seeds that are still out there before winter comes, before it starts snowing. If you have pumpkins and squashes and melons that are still out there, go get those harvested, get those in a root cellar before it snows. This was a harvest from 2 years ago. We had a lot more than this year in our gardens this year. And then covering the ground. So here we are. This is one of my students last year. This is Jessica. Can't tell that because the way we took the picture. But she is covering the ground with wood chips. And she's covering this entire garden area here because wood chips are a fungal food, and we need the beneficial fungus to feed the soil. So we got all these wood chips out there. And this year, while we were gardening this is where my student Becca Anderson had her garden in this area this year. And there were mushrooms coming up all over the place throughout the whole year. So that's a fantastic thing. To be able to walk out in your field and see mushrooms. One of our top soil scientists in the world, her name is Jill Clapperton, and she said that when you walk out in your field and you see mushrooms popping up, you have arrived at a good place for soil health. So that, and that when we're seeing that in the soils that we're working on here. So that's pretty great. And of course, if you have any potatoes or any other root crops in the ground, if you're in a cold climate, get those dug up. Get all your root crops out of the ground. If you have a mild climate and your ground doesn't freeze super hard, then you can possibly leave some of your root crops in the ground. So if you have carrots and parsnips, you can leave those in the ground and dig those throughout the winter. But potatoes should be dug. You don't really want to eat potatoes that have frozen. They're not good. I think they're not good for you is the point. They might be good to eat. They might taste good, but I've heard that it's not good to eat them. It's not as healthy. So, and of course, cabbages. At this time of year, if you have cabbages, pull the entire plant out of the ground with the root on, and then tie a piece of wire around the root and hang them upside down just in your root cellar. If you have, a fridge, you can just cut them off if you have room in your fridge. Most people don't have enough room in the fridge to put 20 cabbages, though. So I like to put them in a root cellar. But if you leave all of these big outer leaves on them, then they help to keep the inside here hydrated so that they don't wilt. And of course, if you are using an old-time root cellar, you need a couple of buckets or pans of water in the root cellar so that you have some evaporation that keeps the humidity high to store your root crops and then anything like this. You always want high humidity in your root cellar. And then here's a picture of my greenhouse last year. So this was pretty awesome in one of our many snowstorms we had last year. So we want to get all this work done that I'm talking about before this snow comes. And there are certain people who look at long-term forecasts, meteorologists, and they're saying there's a good likelihood that we can have another heavy winter this year, which would be fantastic. I like that idea. For people who are out working or traveling in the snow all the time, maybe they're not so excited. But for me and the work that I do, I think it's great. Let it snow. So that is the end of my presentation tonight. So we can go ahead and just open this up for questions and answers. I will give you the answer. We should switch it. I should ask the question and you guys answer me tonight. Go ahead and ask your questions. Whoever has a question, go ahead.
Oh, you have any questions? Holly's thinking.
Oh, I'll give you a few seconds to think. That's good.
Well, being that she had a really rigorous day, we'll see how quickly she can up.
No, I was just thinking about the fruit trees we planted. I've heard that when you plant trees, you might have some shock of transplant. What does that look like?
Yeah, so usually if trees get transplant shocked, they die. I don't think you will have that with the tree, you know. It probably isn't a problem because we're late enough in the year that probably won't happen. Let me explain what I mean. When you're planting trees, the time that they really get stressed out is the heat of summer. When it's dry, when there's a lot of wind, you know, like hot winds, hot days, 100-degree weather, those long hours of that sun bearing down hard, that's the hardest thing for trees. So I mean, here it is, we are in October, you know. You just planted them recently, right? Just in the last week or so.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's an issue because the weather is cooler now. We have cool nights. You know, I mean, I'm sure you watered them when you planted them pretty good. So they're not going to be drying out in the roots. I don't think it's a problem.
So if their leaves are looking sad, do we just need to put more water on them, or?
Yeah, possibly, yeah. You know, at this time of year, they could just be going dormant, though.
Oh.
So
if they turn yellow or get droopy, it might be just fall.
Yeah. And it's kind of hard to tell, but at this time of year, that would be a very normal thing. So, I mean, you've already had a couple of frosts there where you are, right?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Not yet.
But it's been pretty cold. It's been getting in the high 30s, probably.
Have we hit 30s yet? I think we've
40s.
Still only been in the 40s at night.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Do you have any other trees around that are starting to turn colors?
No, on this property.
Well, we don't have any on our property at all.
Yeah.
Have you noticed the trees around us?
Have to look and see. I've not noticed.
I don't know. We'll have to look as we drive out tomorrow.
Yeah.
The people's trees are doing.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, planting trees in the fall is good time. So I don't think it's an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And let's say it was an issue. What would you do? Just make sure they're watered good. You know, at this time of year. So, I mean, they're going into dormancy soon. As soon as you get your first frost, it's gonna snap them into dormancy, and yeah, so you'll be in good shape.
Okay. Let's see.
Anything else about the grass or the garden patch?
Yeah, we planted a bunch of different seeds. You had given us a list and we got about 8 or 10 things and planted all those in our garden patch. So those are coming up. We have, what do you think, like five different things coming through right now? And some of them are like 2 inches tall. So we just keep putting water on that every once in a while. So it's getting started to get some roots in there.
Perfect. Good. Yeah, it'll grow this fall, and then next spring things will come up and create you a beautiful cover crop. It'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
The 12th, we should have our first frost.
Yeah.
So just checking, looks like the 12th is 80% chance of 32 degrees by October 12th. So we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, winter's on its way. It's been a
Mhm.
beautiful fall everywhere though. Everybody I've talked to around most of the country, they've all said it's been a beautiful fall, so that's nice. All right,
Mhm.
Helena, Vernie Lynn, do you guys have any questions? Zeke said he was going to get on and have questions, but he hasn't got on, so he's usually on.
I don't have any specific questions because if I have them, I usually ask you at home.
You know, that's what Jared said. He said, I never get on your free call on Thursday nights because I just hired you and gave you a house to live in and had you build my greenhouse and you grow all my food. So why would I get on and ask questions? I just hired you. Pretty funny.
Mhm.
All right. So that's fun. We're going to call it a night. Thank you for being on. It's good to see you. And if you need anything, if you have any emergencies, give me a text. You can contact me through my website. And we will be back next week, next Thursday, same time, same link, same place. And we will do this again. Good night,
Okay.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
All right, bye.
You're welcome.